Mr. Van Straten?
Speaking.
Mr. Arkadin is calling you. I'll put you through.
Mr. Van Straten, I'm prepared to talk business with you. I said I'm prepared to talk business with you. My car is downstairs. I'm waiting.
Oh, Van Straten. Mr. Arkadin is waiting for you.
Thanks.
And now I'm going to tell you about a scorpion. This scorpion wanted to cross a river. So he asked the frog to carry him. No, said the frog, no, thank you. If I let you on my back, you may sting me, and the sting of a scorpion is death. Now, whereas the scorpion is the logic of that, for scorpions always try to be logical. If I sting you, you will die. I will drown. So the frog was convinced and allowed the scorpion on his back, but just in the middle of the river, he felt a terrible pain and realized that after all, the scorpion had stung him. Logic, cried the dying frog as he started under bearing the scorpion down with him. There is no logic in this. I know, said the scorpion, but I can't help it. It's my character. Let's drink to character.
Excuse me, sir, but Mr. Arkadin would like you to wait for him on the terrace. This way, please.
You called me back here because you wanted to talk business.
Your business, Van Straten. You told me you knew so much about me you could fill out a dossier on me.
Well, you know how it is. A fella gets around.
Where? Where did you get, Van Straten?
Naples. Well, I even got here, didn't I? Not everybody can say they had a private audience with the great Arkadin. I mean, alone like this. I'm not the only one who knows about Bracco. He's dead, but he told us something about you. Something you'd like kept quiet. He was knifed. Yeah, and then there's Sophie.
Knifed? Knifed by you?
Do I look like a killer?
No, you're simply a fool. I will not ask you your price because you have nothing to sell. But still, I'll make you an offer. I'm going to give you something to sell, and then I will pay you for it. Come on. You've tried to threaten me with a secret which does not exist. Now I'll make you a present of a real one. The great secret of my life. Come in. My secretary's work here is private. Now tell me, if I really had something to hide, what do you think it would be?
Well,
Take a guess.
well, there is something. There has to be.
Why?
Well, if there isn't... Well, how come you never let yourself be photographed, for instance?
No, I've been photographed, but usually I break the photograph. Also, head of the photographer. I'm a strong man, Van Straten. How old do you think I am?
How would I know?
I don't know either. See, that's my secret. I don't know. You think I'm crazy?
No. I don't think you asked me back here to try to help you guess your age either.
You've heard of a thing in the army called intelligence check?
Some kind of an investigation, isn't it?
Yeah. These army people are thorough. They look under the wallpaper. They turn up the carpets.
Which army?
Your army.
Yeah, I did have to reside back in the States in '42, so I got a polite invitation to join. You know, greetings there. What's with you in the army?
I'm interested in some proposed air bases your army is building in Portugal.
And you want the contract. I get it. You're afraid one of those investigation deals could wreck it for you. You want to hire me to help you cover up a few little items.
You are informing me or asking me, Mr. Van Straten?
Mr. Arkadin, I'm just guessing. But now I'll ask you something. What makes you think you can trust me?
I think you will do what I tell you.
Just one more question. Why?
Come to that later.
Yeah, we'll come to that right now.
You're a fool, but not a silly fool. And I am not ungenerous.
Not ungenerous. That means
$10,000. Tax-free, of course. You can have it in gold in Liechtenstein.
make it 20,000.
You're a poor businessman, Vostfr. You're bargaining before you know what's for sale.
What I don't know, I can find out. Make it 50.
I am hiring your specialized knowledge, your ability to move about in the underworld.
Underworld?
I want you to make an investigation and prepare me a report.
Report? A report on what?
Gregory Arkadin. All about Gregory Arkadin. I'm serious. It's me I want you to investigate.
What is it you're so afraid they're going to find out?
Vostfr, on my mother's grave, I swear to you, I wish I knew.
And you figure that if I can't smoke it out, the army boys won't be able to either, huh?
I'm going to tell you a story, a poetic little story. It's winter of 27. One night, one snowy night, I found myself a young man in Zurich. I had nothing. Only the one suit I was wearing and a wallet in which there were 200,000 Swiss francs. With that money, my fortune was built. You see, I promised you this was poetic.
Well?
Well, what?
Who was she?
She, who was she, isn't the question at all. The question is, who was I?
Okay, Mr. Arkadin, I'll buy it. Who were you?
That's just it. What happened before the winter of 27? Where did I come from in my one suit? That is my real secret. And you were the first man I ever told it to. I do not know who I am.
Amnesia. But if it's as bad as you claim...
What do you mean as I claim?
You don't have any memory of what happened to you before 27, right? So what makes you so sure your name is Arkadin?
Huh?
Well, maybe it's Arkadin or Arkadini or Arkapopoulos or Smith.
Don't be a fool. I know my own name.
Who says so?
I say so.
Yeah, well, who are you? You just told me you don't know.
I'm paying you to find out.
So why does Arkadin stick in your mind? Maybe it's the name of a cough medicine. Maybe it's somebody you knocked off at 200,000 Swiss francs.
You think that's how I got the money?
Well, maybe you stole it. How do we know?
Guy in there?
I'm alone, Raina.
Why is the door locked? I want to see Guy. What's going on between you two?
Mr. Van Straten is gone. He has left the country, Raina. You will not see him again. That is a condition, of course. She will not see you. And above all, she must never learn that I've given you this job. She might imagine that I'm paying you off.
Isn't that just what you're doing?
You know, at first I thought it was something else. I rather thought you were blackmailing me. Here's the character.
Where did I stand now? Was he paying me off or lousing me up? Why should he think that I could turn up something that he couldn't even remember? Well, the answer to that was a long way off. I had to do a lot of traveling and ask an awful lot of questions before I learned the truth. From Helsinki to Leopoldville, Brussels, Belgrade, Beirut, Torino and Trieste, Marseille and Mogador. I talked to every crook who'd even been around in 1927. And a whole lot of other characters besides. Even some of the big money men, financiers up in Arkadin's league. I claimed I was a newspaper man, but even that didn't always get me in the door.
Sir Joseph is not well enough to give interviews, but out of respect for Time magazine, that is your magazine, isn't it? Sir Joseph has consented to make the following statement with the understanding that it is not to be quoted.
Gregory Arkadin is one of the shrewdest of all adventurers in high finance and certainly the most unscrupulous. During the last war, I had occasion to make inquiries into his past. In another epoch, such a man might have sacked Rome or been hanged as a pirate. Today, we must accept him for what he is, a phenomenon of an age of dissolution and crisis. As to his place of origin and the source of his first capital, the most painstaking investigation has shown that these are quite impossible to trace. out on that cruise, was keeping in pretty close touch with me whenever she could. Yeah, with a few other good-looking dames as fellow passengers. Millie was junketing around all this time with Arkadin on that yacht.
What are you doing in my cabin?
Would you prefer to come to mine?
Don't be funny.
You said you wanted to be alone with me. Has that slipped your mind?
Oh, yes. The message.
You better have a little more champagne.
It's not me that wants to talk to you. It's a friend of mine.
Guy Vanstrat.
You know everything, don't you?
Only what I need to know.
Rocco, for instance?
On my business.
Oh, sure. Guy told me. Money changing, munitions. Some of the guns he sent to the Reds in China didn't even shoot.
Is Vanstrat not communist?
Are you kidding?
Then what's he complaining about?
Nobody's complaining. He's just doing that crazy job you get. Hey, you didn't answer my question about Rocco.
Vanstrat mentioned it. When did you talk to him last?
Rocco was killed and murdered on the dock in Naples, Italy.
No, I mean, when did you talk to Vanstrat?
Seemed you were pretty chummy with some Nazi collaborators in Vichy.
Oh, some champagne.
They trusted you with all their money, those Nazis, to invest in South America for after the war. They didn't even ask for a receipt.
I've heard that
Now
story.
their families can't even prove the money's theirs. And then there's Mussolini. All those roads you built for the fascists in Ethiopia. Bad water, not enough food. Guy says more than 100 of the men died. You know, you're kind of cute in a weird sort of a way. After a person gets over being scared of you. Why'd you grow that awful beard?
To scare people with.
When'd you grow it? 1927?
You know something about that year Vanstrat has discovered something?
We know where you came from.
It's more than I do.
Warsaw.
Huh? What's that?
That's why Guy wants me to see Thaddeus when we get to Tangier.
Who?
Thaddeus. He's an organized smuggler. I mean, he organizes smugglers. Shut up. He knows all the crooks in all the world, and he's Polish.
What's that got to do with it?
Warsaw is a city in Poland.
I was aware of
You
that.
see, Guy went to see your tailor in Zurich.
Now what?
The tailor who made your first suit of clothes when you came there.
He's dead.
You probably never even noticed the cutter, but he remembers you and the label in the coat you were wearing when you first came in the shop.
Label.
The tailor's label. Your suit was made in Warsaw, so that's where you came from.
Guy couldn't get into Poland now. He'd never get a visa.
Awful lot of Poles left home these last few years.
Refugees. They went everywhere, all over the place.
That's what Guy's gonna do. Look up an awful lot of Poles.
But where?
Just wherever you say, Mr. Arkadin. Everywhere. All over the place.
Now, remember that Bracco had made us a present of two names, Arkadin and somebody called Sophie. So I asked around about this Sophie, too. Well, the first nibble I got on that was up in Copenhagen. In a flea circus.
Why come to me? I am a legitimate entertainer now. Please watch your spoking. I am only interested in my fleas. That's all? And now we are rehearsing. Besides, I have to get ready for a show in a few minutes, so I cannot give you much time. Oh, please, please, please. The fleas don't like it. Who likes it?
Will you at least try guessing?
Have you ever seen a football game? Alley hoops. Between alley hoops. Alley hoops. Educated fleas. Now here's the kickoff. Alley hoops. Now, alley hoops. Alley hoops. Now here is August. He's the goalkeeper. Pick it up, August. Put it in the right position, August. That's right. Alley, August. Alley, August. Poop.
Why would a man want to escape from
In the
Poland?
past few years, my country has offered its people a wide variety of incentives for moving elsewhere.
Now, wait a minute, Professor. In your day, you were one of the best con men in Europe.
Please, not so loud.
I don't see any reason why I should lower my voice if you're not going to offer me a... cooperation.
Feeding time.
Come on, Professor, think back. A police case in Warsaw involving a woman called Sophie.
Couldn't you find another Paul? There's Thaddeus, that contraband fellow.
Yeah, Tangier.
Why not try him?
Nah, he's too young.
There's nothing a type like that doesn't know about crooks. Crooks. He has them jumping around for him like my fleas. Only the fleas are smarter.
I got a friend doing Tangiers this week. She'll see Thaddeus. Oh, come on, Professor. What about Sophie?
Sophie? No. A type like that, if she's alive, she's legitimate by now.
Well, what makes you think she'd go straight?
Simple. She was intelligent. Did you ever stop to think why cops are always famous for being dumb? Simple. Because they don't have to be anything else. Crooks aren't the worst people. They're just the stupidest. The fleas of the world.
And murder?
My friend, after 20,000 years, murder is still a business that's mainly in the hands of the amateurs.
You know Thaddeus? I'm a friend of Guy's. We used to see you every time we came to Tangier.
Wie morgen seinen Schneider.
You must remember me.
I never remember pretty women. It's so expensive.
But my Japanese cameras.
I can't help you. Van Straten, has he got a new boat?
This is not about business, Mr. Thaddeus. We just want you to do us a favor.
I never do favors.
We only want a little information about Poland.
I never give in. Poland.
This won't cost you anything.
Do you know of a fence in Amsterdam called
Yes.
Borgomir Trebich? Trebich?
We're not going to Amsterdam.
You and Van Straten?
No, I'm not with him anymore. I'm on a sort of a cruise.
Enjoy yourself.
Trebich. I'll remember the name. Thanks, Thaddeus.
Thanks for nothing.
Here we have a telescope. 110 gulden, my dear. Well, you can always fix it with a weeny bit of tape.
Why not try to stick to the subject? You were going to tell me about a woman called Sophie, remember?
Sophie, she was quite a girl. Not that I remember her personally, only by reputation. And with the telescope comes a laser case.
What happened to her? Where is she?
Where is anybody?
Well, you know she's still alive.
Well, if you don't want the case, I can sell you the telescope without it, but then, of course, the price would be a weeny bit steeper.
You haven't answered my question.
You haven't bought my telescope.
Yeah, but I will. I will, Mr. Trubich. I'm going to buy it. Now, what were you going to tell me?
Those girls. Those girls was the ruin of Sophie.
Girls?
Hildegard, was must du da?
What girls, Mr. Trubich?
Imagine, my dear, they were hired by the police to pose as members of Sophie's dancing academy. Huh?
What dancing academy?
Well, perhaps you'd be interested in a lovely aquarium for your tropical fish.
Oh, no, thanks. Look, I already got a telescope.
You haven't paid for it, have you? Still, we can always discuss price, can't we, my dear?
Now, look, about this dancing academy, I'm buying information. Buying means that I'm prepared to pay.
I make it a principle never to give information, even about people who are dead. I mustn't get a reputation for being indiscreet now, must I? Especially in my profession. No, what you are buying is a telescope.
Oh, fine. Looks as if I'm also buying an aquarium, but if Sophie's dead, I can't see what difference it
Dead? Who said she's dead?
Well, nobody says she's alive.
I seem to remember she got away from the police when they broke up the gang.
The gang? Oh, come on, Mr. Trebich. What did the gang do? White slavery?
Warsaw was the center of that, my dear, before the last war. Oh, my poor baby, you don't know a thing. Why, half the flesh that was run into South America from Central and Eastern Europe came right through Warsaw. Wait, I've got something for you.
No, I don't want to buy anything else.
You will buy this one. It's an idea. Well, those young girls.
What girls?
The girls I spoke of that acted as special police agents. Well, it just happened, my dear, that one of them turned up here during the war, during the occupation.
Well, what's her name? Oh, come on, Mr. Trebich, I'm paying you for this.
And she was quite a heroine of the resistance movement, connected, one imagines, with the British. I spent the night here in my little shop in 42. We got to talking about Warsaw. You know what we Poles are. Well, the Baroness can tell you all about Sophie.
Oh, fine, Mr. Trebich. Where is this Baroness?
The Baroness Nagel.
Okay, but where does she live?
And here is the telescope. You see, I believe in giving value.
Value? This thing doesn't even have a lens.
Well, what can you expect for 200 guilder?
200?
You can always find the lens. Ah, Gusti. Yanni, Mittagessen. If you can pay me in dollars, I can offer you a very good rate. Oh, guilder. Of course, there will be the usual charge for breakages.
Breakages?
Oh, my beaded curtain I can perhaps restring, and I may be able to mend up my alligator, but you've absolutely ruined the pretty aquarium, my dear. Well, you remember the name, Nagel, huh? N-A-G-E-L. Nagel.
Nagel. Is that all I'm getting?
The Baroness Nagel, huh? B-A-R...
I can spell Baroness. Now, you just tell me where I can find it.
My dear, I swear to you on my heart, I haven't the remotest idea where the Baroness is. Or what happened to her.
Я не знаю, что. Барона Нажель очень давно не видел.
Al is een hele tijd geleden dat ik iets heb horen vertellen over de barones van Nagel.
Nagel, the Baroness Nagel. Oh, she wouldn't have gone back to Poland. Not the way things are now. Try London.
Nagel? Yes, she was decorated by our people and the French. Wonderful girl.
Nagel, I think she's working at Paris.
She's at one of the big dress houses. Dior, I think. She's a vendeuse.
A what?
A saleswoman.
Good. I got something I want to buy.
Well, she lives here. Of course, I remember you. You are the gentleman who was here the other day. Well, I'm sorry, monsieur, but the Baroness won't be until late tonight. She has a dinner appointment. Oh, thank you, monsieur. I think it might be with that gentleman who brought the beautiful flowers just the day after you were here. He was a big, tall man. With a beard. Yes, with a beard.
Somebody.
Criminal underworld in Warsaw? It's true that for a year or so, I did see a little something of that sort of thing. It wasn't as amusing as you might think.
Criminals aren't ever very amusing.
It's because they're failures. Those who make real money aren't counted as criminals. This is a class distinction, not an ethical problem.
Here's to crime.
I suppose you want me to tell you about Sophie.
Sophie?
She was in those years the most important criminal in Poland. However, we did manage to put her out of business.
Oui.
There were several of us, young girls. And I won't pretend to you that we were not rather thrilled at being part of the secret police. Also, in my case, our family needed the money, badly. We were sort of wooden ducks. How do you call it, a decoy?
You mean you were used to collect evidence?
Oh, it was a rather nasty business, really. The gang masqueraded as a dancing school, where the young ladies went to learn the tango. The victims, of course, ended up in South America. I was glad, actually, to be useful in breaking it up.
The leader got away.
Oh,
Oh, Sophie's been living abroad ever since, in great style.
Sophie, what was her last name again?
She married years ago.
Well, what's her married name?
You are inquisitive. Before telling you that, I ought to ask my employers for permission.
Your employer is Baroness? You're a vendeuse working for a dress shop. That means you sold a dress to her, right?
She's a good customer.
And she's been in your shop more than once?
Every year when she comes to Paris.
Comes from where?
That is something one mustn't tell, I should think.
I thought they were very strict about people with criminal records in Argentina.
Not Argentina, no. Oh? And not Chile either. No. Don't imagine you can trap me so easily.
I'll bet you $200. I can trap you, Baroness.
Let's make it 500. It's more sporting.
300. That's sporting enough. Here. Write Sophie's married name on the dress, and then we'll compare notes.
Haha. First we'll have some more gypsy music. And you'll buy me another bottle of champagne. Then afterwards, just for the fun of it, you'll show me your money.
As you wish.
No, I really can't. I hate people who sell information. There was somebody else only last week who wanted to know the same thing.
What?
About Sophie. Digging into the past. It's really too disgusting. Here, take it as a gift. After all, what's that woman to me?
You can't object if I settle our wager. There, you see what I've written? I didn't come within a mile of it. It was Van Straten who approached you.
Yes.
I'm a fool.
Why?
Baroness, a fool is a man who pays twice for the same thing.
Arkadin and the Baroness. Why was Arkadin cutting in on the very job he'd given me? I hope the Baroness hadn't told him where to find Sophie. I had to get to Mexico before him, because now it was a race for Raina. I was hoping for a message from Millie, too. I hadn't heard from her for quite a while.
No, sir, there's no message. But there is someone to see you.
Going to ask me up for a drink?
Come on. Guess we have time for one.
Oh, yes, and there's somebody else waiting for you.
You've been avoiding me. Why? I hope it isn't because of my father.
No, I've been away. Belgrade, Zurich.
Why all this jumping around?
Job?
For my father? Funny, I thought I caught a glimpse of him here in your hotel, but that doesn't make sense, does it?
You don't trust me, do you? That's really why I haven't wanted to see you.
You mean you need to be trusted? Funny. So does father.
Why funny?
Simply because nobody in their right mind could trust either one of you.
Raina, what are you doing in this man's room?
That's my question, isn't it, Father? Yes, and I think I'd better ask it, too. What are you doing here? You can't have known I was coming. I didn't know it myself.
I have business with myself.
Business? And you gave me your word.
His word. He gave me his word he wouldn't see you again.
Oh, really? And he swore to me he wouldn't take money from you. How cheap did you come?
Well, Van Straten.
No, I'm asking the questions now.
$15,000. Well, you wanted the truth, didn't you? You could save us that old-fashioned melodrama about your innocent daughter all alone with a wicked bachelor in his hotel room. I only came back to get my bags and I'm on my way out of the country.
There's a price tag on every man.
Yeah, what's yours, Mr. Arkadin? 200,000 Swiss francs? You know that was the basis of the great Arkadin fortune? Or maybe $15,000 will be the basis of mine.
You imagine I'm going to give you that now?
Man needs money to make money, Mr. Arkadin. I wouldn't dream of asking your daughter to marry me as long as I'm broke.
Marry
that
you?
That dough he started with figures to be earned in some dirty way, too. And I'm going to find out how. And when I do, who knows? Maybe I'll wind up in Arkadin myself someday.
You hear, Raina? That's the sort of man you think you're in love with, a blackmailer.
Why can't I be in love with him?
I was hired by your father to do a little checking up for him. Investigations like. Well, it was his idea, not mine.
It doesn't sound much like blackmail to me.
But you aren't in love with
But
him.
it seems that you, Father, made him promise to stay away from me.
I never promised to do that. Now I'm going to see you whenever I can, job or no job.
You're going away again.
It's just a short trip. If I'm lucky, it may even be the last.
You're going to Spain, aren't you? I'll see you there on my way back from Mexico.
I wish you would stop having me followed and spied on every minute, Father. Frankly, I'm fed up with living the life of an expensive gypsy.
Raina, there's no need to discuss this with Van Straten.